Good morning. How are you guys? It is an early Sunday morning. We never do the Red Friday live chat, or I'm sorry, not Red Friday live chat. It's a Sunday. It's game day. Where am I? I'm 5 days too early. I'm thinking of that Sunday game or Friday game. Okay, yeah, it's too early for me. It is too early for me. But here we are, Chiefs Panthers. I got the opponent right. Chiefs Panthers. Got some things to go over. Obviously, a lot of people still talking about the DJ Humphrey signing and when that'll be official. Has not been official yet because there were some people saying, oh, he's definitely playing today. No, definitely not playing today because he's not even on the active roster. He's not even signed yet. It will happen unless, he pulls a Josh McDaniels and decides to back out. But he is expected to be a Kansas City Chief, so no worries if that's a concern for anybody out there. But that is huge. Until then, you don't have him on your roster yet, but you gotta move forward without him. And maybe he does not play that Red Friday or Black Friday game against the Raiders. So we'll have to wait and see what the Chiefs do in terms of when they get him officially signed. I think they're going to be off on Monday because it is a Friday game. So Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Or how does that work? Yeah, I don't know how this works. On a Thursday game, you're practicing every day, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And then if you're the road team, Wednesday is the travel day. But I don't know how it works on a Friday. I'd be very curious to see what the Dolphins did last year. The Dolphins, and I can't remember who their opponents were when they played on Black Friday last year. So we'll have to see. But I don't think he's going to practice or play with just a couple of practices. But for right now, the Chiefs, when you look at what they need, as I see a lot of you guys coming into the chat, live chat, appreciate it. Good morning to you guys. Come on in. Hit me up. Let me know any questions you have. I'll try to keep an eye on Instagram because StreamYard does not show Instagram comments. I don't know why, how that technology has not been figured out yet, but that's not for me to decide. Chiefs, what is the most important thing that needs to happen today? Two big things, and I want to see this from the offense, even without DJ Humphries. Number one, I want to see the Chiefs win the battle on third down today. They have the best third down conversion rate in the NFL at like 51.999%, something like that, or very close to it. So the Chiefs need to win that battle because the Panthers, they have the worst third down defense in the league. So it's a really big factor right there as to how you can win this game. When you do that, the Panthers, they're going to get worn out as the game goes on. So you have a really good opportunity to go out there and do some damage to a Panthers defense that could honestly be gassed out going into the fourth quarter. That's probably when you let Kareem Hunt take over, get some AJ Pirine, Carson Steele involved a little bit. Look, I know a lot of people say, well, don't ever underestimate. I mean, I'm not a player, I'm not a coach, so I can say this, but I want to see some of the younger guys, some of the newer guys on the team get involved. Let Juju get involved more. I mean, not that he's a new or a young guy, but a guy who came back during the season. It recently came back from an injury. I'd like to see Carson Steele get more involved. I'd like to see Samaje Perine, not a young guy, but a new guy on the team, get more involved with the offense. And I think this is the perfect time to do it, especially in the fourth quarter. Now, in order to do that, you got to have a lead, a significant lead, and you got to get off to a good start. The Kansas City Chiefs have not gotten off to a good start in a lot of their games this season. In fact, in the last 3 games, they have not scored on their opening possession. They've either turned the ball over or have punted. In fact, here's the Chiefs obviously played 10 games and are 9-1. Here's Kansas City, how they've looked on their opening possession. 3 touchdowns, which is not good out of 10 opening possessions, 1 field goal, 3 turnovers, 1 turnover on down. That was against San Francisco on the fake punt attempt, and 2 punts. 3 touchdowns, 1 field goal, essentially 4 scores, 4 turnovers, including turnover on downs, and 2 punts. That is not very good. The Chiefs have only scored on 40% of their opening possessions this season. That absolutely needs to be better. Yeah, Jamie, I agree. Fast start. Got to start fast. Look, I think this is getting to a point now where we're in late November. It's going to be December very soon. And I've always said around Thanksgiving week, which is obviously less than a week from now, that is when the playoff race starts to heat up. And if you're the Chiefs defense, you're going to be facing some teams in the coming weeks that are all looking to battle and try to keep their spot. I mean, look who the Chiefs have coming up. They got the Raiders, okay, a game you should win. You should absolutely win that game. Then you've got the Chargers. That's a team that's fighting for a wild card spot. And, if things go in their favor, they could be in serious contention to win the AFC West. Then later on in the month of December, you have Houston, who's kind of on the brink right now. I believe they're still leading their division, but they haven't played well the last couple of weeks. That's a team that's looking to kind of improve their standing. Pittsburgh is fighting for the number 1 seed. Week 18, if the Chiefs have to play their starters in that one, they're going to be playing a Denver team that might still be fighting for a wild card spot. I don't know. I'm looking at the AFC playoff picture right now. I just have a hard time believing the 7 teams that we have right now, which is the Chiefs, Bills, Steelers, Texans, Chargers, Ravens, Broncos. Those 7 teams, I just don't think they lose their spots. The Colts are kind of an iffy up and down team. Miami, they've won. Did they win their Monday Night Football game or whenever it was they last played? Yeah, they beat the Rams last Monday, and then this past week they beat the Raiders. Okay, they're on a little bit of a roll. They've got the Patriots today. And they also got a couple of games against the Jets. I mean, 49ers, Brown, they have a chance. They have a chance. I think the only team in the AFC playoff picture that's right now not within the 7 playoff spots, I think Miami has the better shot, better than Indianapolis. Listen, I really like Joe Flacco, but that Colts team has been very up and down, whereas Miami, they've kind of gotten onto a roll lately. The Bengals, I mean, Joe Burrow has all these great stats. Jamar Chase has all these great stats. Trey Hendrickson, great numbers, but they don't do very well in situational moments late in the fourth quarter. They just don't. They've hurt their team in those areas. And listen, not to say they're the blame, because they've also done a lot for the team, but the Bengals just haven't beaten a team. They have not beaten anyone above 500. They beat the Patriots, the Raiders, a couple of other teams. They've only been teams that have like 3 wins or less. It's not a very good season for the Bengals. They're competing in games, but they're not winning them. You don't get a win. You don't get gifted a win just because you competed and worked so hard for it. I actually thought they were going to get off to a really good start after that slow start. I thought they were going to bounce back and thought the Chargers were going to choke. Nope. It was either the Chargers were trying to Charger and the Bengals were trying to Bengal. That's the type of game that was. But anyway, my point is the Chiefs do have some tough games coming up where you've got teams in the playoff hunt like the Broncos, like the Chargers, like the Texans, like the Steelers. So for people who say the Chiefs have an easy schedule, no, not true at all. They've already played some really good teams. In fact, their strength of schedule is 509, which is the best of any team of the 7 teams that are currently in the playoff picture. Indianapolis has a 526 strength of schedule. That's better than the Chiefs, but they're not in the playoff picture right now. When you look at Kansas City's strength of victory, it's 473. Buffalo's is 430. So even though the Chiefs lost to the Bills, Chiefs do have a better strength of victory. So for anyone who wants to say the Chiefs don't have any tough teams on their schedule or they haven't played anyone good so far, yeah, it's not true at all. Not true at all. In fact, that 474, I would say that's the that is the second best of all the 7 teams in the playoff picture. Only team better is Baltimore. They're at 493, so not much higher. So, yeah, narratives are funny, man, especially when they get debunked by facts. We got to go hard today, family. We got to make big plays, change the game. Yeah, and I think this is the game to do it. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and say this is going to be the Chiefs are going to prove anything because it is Carolina. I know they're on a 2-game winning streak right now, but who have they beat? They beat the Giants in Germany. And who was the game before that they played against? The Saints, who are a disaster. And they just fired I believe they fired their coach after losing to the Panthers. When you look at the Panthers overall, they're not doing really good this season. They're dead last in a lot of categories, both on offense and defense. I'm going to pull out my notes here, see if I can pull those up real quickly. They're dead last in total offense. They are dead last against the run, dead last in points per game allowed, last in third down defense. I've already gone over that with you guys. And then in areas where they're not last, they're very close to last. 31st in passing, 24th in rushing. I mean, they've got Chuba Hubbard, but that's really the only good player on their offense. 29th in scoring, tied 29th in third down efficiency. They're 5th in the red zone. That's the only thing they're really good at. So when they do get to the red zone, they find a way to take advantage. And when you have a good running back, that's pretty easy to do. And that's really the only good thing you have. Bad news for the Panthers is that the Chiefs, even though they're facing a really good running back today, the Chiefs have done a great job against running backs this season. I don't think there's a running back that's rushed for more than 58 yards. Keep in mind, I'm saying specifically running back. Lamar Jackson did run for, I think, 111 yards on the Chiefs, but he's a quarterback, not a running back. The Chiefs, I mean, they've shut down Jordan Mason, who was top 5 in rushing yards when the Chiefs and 49ers played. Derrick Henry, I mean, no one had any yards to open up the season, but Derrick Henry is leading the league in rushing yards. The Chiefs shut him down. The Chiefs shut down J.K. Dobbins, Alvin Kamara, James Cook. The Chiefs have faced a lot of really, really good running backs this year. So when you look at the Chiefs and the fact that they're second or third in stopping the run, I mean, that is not a misleading stat by any stretch. This Chiefs run defense is legit. I would argue that the run defense is much better than the pass defense. Last year, the run defense wasn't terrible. It just wasn't as stout as it is this season. So the one area where the Chiefs defense really improved was that run defense. They have taken a step back when it comes to stopping the pass. And what did I say all offseason, guys? I said the Chiefs defense, statistically, they were going to take a little bit of a step back, but it wasn't going to be anything too noticeable. I know a lot of people are pointing at Najee Johnson and his struggles, but overall, like, the Chiefs are not allowing teams to light up the scoreboard. Yeah, they just allowed 30 on the Bills. It's their first time allowing 30 points in a game since Super Bowl 57. Not the most recent Super Bowl against the 49ers, the Super Bowl before that. So it's been almost 2 full years since the Chiefs had even allowed that many points in a single. And listen, allowing 30 points on the road against Buffalo, I'm not going to sit here and say that's good, but that's not awful either. And listen, I'll cut some slack for the Chiefs defense because they got stops in that third quarter. They forced a 3-and-out. They forced another short-lived drive, making the Bills punt again. But the Chiefs were just equating whatever the Bills had. If the Bills had a 3-and-out, the Chiefs had a 3-and-out. If the Bills had a 6-play drive, the Chiefs had a 6-play drive. It was just so frustrating. And I think that offense really does need to play better because the defense is getting stops. Again, I know a lot of people will say, well, 30 points and all this, but the Chiefs are out there getting stops defensively. I don't think the Chiefs defense has ever hurt the Chiefs in a game this year, in my opinion. They really haven't. Now, I know what a lot of you guys are going to say. The sacks are not there. I know. And Sean Smith pointed out something that I really did not realize until today. And it's that this Chiefs team has not played with the lead in a lot of times this year. I would need to go do some research and look up how many. Let me see if we can do that now. Time playing with the lead, NFL. That has to be most time of possessions with the lead. And that's got to be this season. The Chiefs, oh boy. So you have to, after the top 25, you have to basically unlock, okay, so the Chiefs are 10th. It's not great. By their standard, it doesn't feel, hold on. That's time of possession. I'm looking for time of possession with the lead. Time spent, lead, or tying. This from footballperspective.com. That is an old article. Okay, I'm gonna have to do some research to look that up, but the Chiefs have not had the lead in a lot of situations this year. But once they do have the lead, especially if it's by 2 possessions, what do opposing teams do? Naturally, they pass more. If the Chiefs can put themselves in that situation, first of all, Chuba Hubbard gets nullified. They can't use him more. So the Chiefs' run defense doesn't even have to do anything. If the Chiefs' offense can go out there, get a 10-point lead, a 14-point lead, 17-point lead, then what happens? You start getting those sacks. You'll have opportunities to get sacked. This Chiefs' defense, it's not like they're not capable of it. They certainly are. They're just not getting many of those chances because they've been playing from behind a lot of games. Every single game the Chiefs have trailed. So we'd like to see that. Well, the Chiefs have to make room on the roster spot for DJ Humphrey. I believe you have to make room, and here's why. The Chiefs have 2 left tackles right now. Obviously, you're not going to have 3 left tackles. You also have 2 right tackles. Ethan Driscoll is the backup to Jawan Taylor on the right side. So someone's got to go. My guess is Ethan Driscoll is the odd man out. And maybe Kingsley Suamataia switches over to the right side as a backup, or maybe he's just going to be that swing tackle option. Maybe Wanye Morris does that. Listen, I asked you guys during the Red Friday live chat right after the DJ Humphrey signing was announced. Has not been official yet. But I was asking you guys, I said, would you guys be mad if the Chiefs cut Kingsley Suamataia with the goal to bring him back to the practice squad, but somebody else claimed him? And a lot of you guys said no. And listen, there's no right or wrong answer here. I'm not here to tell you guys are right or wrong, but I think my whole point is it's just no one would care if Kingsley was cut today and went to another team. No one would care. A lot of people, I think, are ready to move on from him. Look, you guys know me. I can be very patient with a player in his progress, but the left tackle spot, I don't think you can be patient for a long time. Now, we spoke to Kendall Gammon on Friday's podcast. If you haven't done so, please go check that out. It's available on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, everywhere where you can download and listen to this podcast. And Kendall Gammon was saying he actually compared Kingsley Suamataia's rookie season to a couple of his former teammates in Pittsburgh. And then he also mentioned Eric Fisher. Eric Fisher, if I recall correctly, did start at right tackle, but then he switched back and forth a couple of times. And he had some struggles early on in his career. I remember a lot of people saying this might be the worst number 1 pick of all time. Well, unfortunately, there was not a viable quarterback available that year to be taken number 1. And the Chiefs, they went with Eric Fisher. Now, Eric Fisher, you guys know how his career ended. He started to play much better. Unfortunately, that injury was really the difference maker during his time with the Chiefs. So, yeah, I'm seeing a lot of you guys say that you guys would not be mad if Kingsley was let go. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think a lot of people would lose any sleep if Kingsley Suamataia was cut and was picked up by another team off waivers. Not trying to, kick the kid while he's down, but it's just right now, I'm not seeing any reason as to why, like what is the realistic expectation for Kingsley Suamataia? Because I remember, who's the guy from ESPN? Louis Riddick. Louis Riddick said in the offseason that Kingsley was going to be, he's going to get Pro Bowl honors and All-Pro honors, and he was going to be a stud for the Chiefs. And listen, he has a really good grasp of that kind of thing. He calls that stuff out, and he's probably one of the more accurate guys. He said that about Rashee Rice last year. He said Rashee Rice was going to be a stud for the Chiefs, and he's been right. Fortunately, Rice is injured at the moment and is not expected to come back until maybe right before the midway point of next season because of the suspension, which, would give him more time to recover and all of that. Yeah, Blake, I'll get to your comment. You have a really good point here. But Kendall Gammon made those comparisons and talked about how that's a very difficult position to play. I know a lot of scouts will say quarterback is the toughest position to play going from college to the NFL, and the second most difficult position would be cornerback and safety. And that I can understand because with young quarterbacks, you got to be ready for a lot of things, and you don't know exactly what direction wide receivers are going to be running toward. So that's something you always have to be ready for. But I would argue that left tackle is up there as one of the toughest positions to play, especially if you're a young guy and you're coming in to protect a franchise quarterback. That is a very difficult thing to do. No, Jared, I'm not saying they're cutting him. I'm just saying, hypothetically speaking, nobody would be upset. Yeah, and listen, I agree with you, Jared. Andy Reid is very giving for opportunities. But I just don't know, how long can you really be patient for left tackle? I see Blake's comment, play him in 2025. I do agree he's going to get a second chance in 2025. But I also think Kansas City is going to go out there and sign a veteran left tackle. Maybe they keep DJ Humphrey. Maybe they go out there and get somebody else, but they're going to get someone else in case Kingsley does not work out. I guarantee you the Chiefs are going to be doing that because that is a position that has to be figured out. You can't have a bad left tackle if your quarterback is Patrick Mahomes. I mean, remember in the Broncos game a couple of weeks ago, Patrick Mahomes, Kingsley just got burned with ease on a pass rush, and Mahomes, with eyes in the back of his head, just ducks down, bends his knees, and makes that pass rusher miss for what should have been an easy sack. I mean, if Chris Jones, Karlaftis, Dana, Turk, I mean, if any of those guys miss a sack like that, we'd all be criticizing it. So for Mahomes to even go out there and find a way to save his left tackles at times, pretty impressive. Off topic, but do you guys think the Raiders will go after Daniel Jones? Listen, I said the Raiders should go after him. I was kidding, but a lot of you guys took that very personally. I would not be shocked if the Vikings got him. I would not be shocked if the 49ers are fine where they are. Actually, I'll tell you a team that could get him. And this would be the biggest FU middle finger to the Giants. The Dallas Cowboys. Oh boy. What if the Dallas Cowboys went and got Daniel Jones? Now, I don't think the Cowboys have any realistic shot whatsoever of making the playoffs. I'm going to pull that up real quickly just to be sure. Yeah, they've got 3 wins. They have the same record as the Panthers. So that's not happening. But boy, don't the Cowboys and Giants play each other again later this year? They play each other next week. That'd be funny if they went and got them and played them against the Giants of all teams. Wouldn't that be like the most Jerry Jones thing ever? I hope it happens. KC is what made the NFL look super scripted. Can't hit Mahomo. Oh, this is real original, Matt. This is real original. Yeah. By the way, Matt, I know I don't know you, Matt. I'm sure you're a good guy. Now, I'm sure you have a strong passion for sports and your team and all that good stuff. But I know you don't watch football closely. I know you're a casual, and here's why I know that, because you're mentioning fake blocked field goals. That offensive lineman, he's actually a center, Forsyth. He's been getting knocked down a bunch this year. At the entire Chiefs game, anytime the Broncos were lining up for a field goal, he kept getting his ass knocked down all game long. And then earlier in the year, same thing. It's on film. Go watch it. It's not Kansas City's fault. They took advantage of that. You know what Kansas City does? They actually, Andy Reid said this in an interview once, exhaust every resource to find a way to win. Meaning, go out there and get every single game film you can find and figure out what do you got to do on offense, defense, and special teams. So, Matt, people like you are mad because, your preference is for the Chiefs to lose, and when they keep winning, you don't like it. So, don't be mad just because, things are not going in your favor. Kingsley needs to redshirt this year. I think the NFL equivalency of that is the practice squad, and again, if you want to put him on the practice squad, you basically have to cut him, and then he has to go through the waiver wire. Does he survive the waiver wire? That I don't know. Just tuning in, do you think Tyquan Thornton can be a pivotal piece moving towards the season? Somebody was mentioning that. I mean, I'm not going to say no, but listen, Juju was on the Patriots and couldn't do a damn thing. You know why? Because it's the fucking Patriots. Okay, this is not the Patriots team with Belichick, Brady, and all the other great pieces they had in the past. So I can give Tyquan Thornton the benefit of the doubt. Am I expecting much out of him? No. I'd like to see the Chiefs give it a chance at some point this year. Maybe that Week 18 game. I don't know. But yeah, I think he can go out there and thrive in the right position because someone tell me who has actually succeeded in Foxborough the past 3 years? No one. Like, that organization has been a train wreck recently. They kind of got going for a little bit. You thought Belichick and Mac Jones were going to do good, because I remember that 2021 season. The Patriots had the number 1 seed 6 weeks before the season ended. Then they ran into a brick wall, and they look like the most complete team, and they went from the most complete looking team to a disaster, and they got their asses handed to them in the Buffalo playoff game. So I don't know. Yes, Pacheco and Aminhu will return against the Raiders because I believe that is when the 21-day window is going to expire. So you have to basically wrap it up. You have to basically, get them up because their 21-day window is going to be coming to an end this coming week. So it has to be the Raiders game because I don't want their first game back to be the Chargers game. And by the way, here's another benefit because it's a short week against the the Raiders. You can go out there and kind of give Kareem Hunt a little bit of a rest and let Pacheco and Samaje Perine play. That because you got to, even though your focus is on today, because of the short week, you have to kind of strategize around that as well. I think that is a huge reason why Pacheco and Aminhu are not playing today, is because they want them to kind of come in and be fresh on a short week and play in that Raiders game. That way, you don't have to rely on Kareem Hunt twice in the span of 5 to 6 days, because that will certainly be a factor for today and Friday together. Yeah, Jared, I agree with you. Christian Gonzalez might be their only good player. I mean, that team putted on the season before it even began when they traded Judon. It's the refs' fault Casey wins, but when they lose, it's not the right. Exactly. Like, you can't have it both ways. Exactly. You can't have it both ways. I love how, like, the Bengals commit the clearest interference of all time, and people, the refs. Yeah, the refs made that rookie commit pass interference. The refs made Isaiah Likely step out of bounds. The refs made the Falcons lose 4 yards on 4th and inches. The refs made the Chargers punt the football away with the game on the line. It's all the refs. It's all the refs. Can we get a horn for the Jayhawks? Hell yeah, we can. Let's fucking go. But I have a question. Like, where the hell was this team all year? Like, come on. You could have packed out Arrowhead this year, but dude, listen, I don't know how much money is being lost from these games at Arrowhead, but they were expecting a much bigger crowd. No question about it. Those crowds this year at Arrowhead have been rough. Like, really, really, really rough. What's up with the Chiefs not using Joshua Uche? Seems like a waste of. No, I mean, listen, they're going to use him more. Sean Smith was on the podcast this week, and he mentioned that he's kind of still getting a feel for the defense. Now, I will say, I don't know how much of a feel you really need to get when your primary duty is basically just applying pressure. Maybe a couple of times you back out and go in coverage, which, by the way, not to get off topic with your question, Blake, somebody was saying that DJ Humphries is not going to start for several weeks because he needs to learn the offense. Can someone tell me what he needs to learn? What does a left tackle need to learn? He doesn't need to learn routes. He doesn't need to learn schemes or any of that. You're a left tackle. It doesn't take too long to get acclimated to pass blocking. You might need to have a better feel for where Patrick might go and where he might be, depending on if you're getting beat or if you're blocking really well. That's something you might need to know, but that doesn't take a very long time to get a grasp of. If you're a good pass blocker, which DJ Humphries is, I don't think he has. He should be able to play Friday at the very least. Should be able to play Sunday night in a couple of weeks when the Chiefs and Chargers play. That's like the refs block the field. Yeah, the refs totally blocked the field goal. Yeah. Exactly. Nice Taylor Swift reference there, Steve. All right. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, guys. Hey, appreciate you guys joining me for this episode of the Pregame Live Chat. Come back at halftime. We will do the halftime live stream, recapping the first half and preview a little bit of the second half. And then come back after the game. We will do the Chief Zone podcast after the game concludes. We'll be taking your video calls. I'll post a link. I'll do it several times. We haven't been getting a lot of video calls lately. I'm not sure why that is. I don't know if the link's not working or what's going on. But I'm hoping that more people call in. I know this is not going to be the most exciting game to talk about, but I'd like to get more of you guys' opinions on video. A lot of you guys are showing up on chat, and I appreciate that. That is huge. I do know that this game probably is going to be more of a low-key post-game show because it is the Panthers, unless the Chiefs lose. But that is just kind of the way things work out. So please call in after the game. Would love to hear from you guys, see your faces, and we can talk some Chiefs football. Give me your thoughts, questions, whatever you have. So come back after the game. We will do the Chiefs Zone podcast. Jason says I don't see an option to call in. That's because I have to post a link, and I only do that for the post-game show. So I think a lot of times people may not realize. Look, listen, let me just say, you guys are awesome spreading the word about the podcast, and because we've had a lot of new followers over the last month. I think we had close to 8,000 followers in the last 28 days since the Raiders game, essentially. That's because of you guys. So yeah, no problem, Jason. I figured maybe you were new, or maybe you just were a little confused by that, but I'm going to post a link, and I'll do it several times during the post-game show. So you can't miss it if you, as long as you pay attention to the comments. So look for that after the game. Okay, I'm out, guys. I'll talk to you at halftime. Peace out.